Warning, this video is intended for adult collectors. It contains plastic collectibles, questionable opinions, and someone who owns way too many plastic robots. It's too late. Random review is about to begin.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel, and I'm kind of excited to talk about this one. This is one of those left field releases that I'm absolutely thrilled anytime it happens. I don't know where it falls into the whole Age of the Primes thing, but hey, it's the Wave 2 Voyager Sky-byte. And this one has me so excited. We haven't had like a proper, genuine Sky-byte since Thrilling 30, and even that one was reimagined. No. This is the OG modernized, and it's one that I am way too excited about. It's so nice to see him back and done up in a very proper way. So, as I fight with my autofocus, you will get to take a look at all the nice details on our new Shark Boy. So, he is cast in a lot of different shades of plastic here. So looking at the tail here for starters, we got the yellow going on, the off-white, the blue. You're going to have grays working in there as well. Paint-wise, you got silver going across the face with those beady red eyes. Lots of silver and gunmetal going across, and a little bit of airbrushing as well. Obviously, the chrome from the original is gone. Hey, Hasbro, you don't seem to have any problem with it here. So again, where are transmetals? Now there's no excuse, is there? I think the one thing about this that a lot of people were rightfully worried about is it's like the original Sky-byte toy was loaded with painted details, so obviously a lot of that has been skipped for modern budgets. I'm still surprised at the amount of paint that is going on here. You've got multiple layers of it, getting the gunmetal in there and then the silver all the way around it there. Obviously, the airbrushing, the colors around here, he is loaded, and he's nice and asymmetrical. He is keeping very true to his Transmetal 2 roots. I am still very much of the opinion that Transmetal 2 designs would look way, way better, and would have gone over way, way better if they were done more like this, where I can actually see the difference between the organic shark skin and the cybernetic detail, rather than all the Transmetal 2s that were washed out because of all the chrome and paint. Here, done very nicely. So, yeah, color and paint-wise, he's spot on. He definitely looks the part. Even if he is missing a lot of those little details, like the little circuitry lights that are supposed to be in him, he's still just exceptionally done. Very well sculpted. Yeah, he's a cyborg shark. What else do you want? In the mouth, you can see that his tsunami blasters are actually intact. What would have been the missile launchers from the original toy. Let me go ahead and take that out. So, tabs in there. You'll see the 5mm peg, so he can hold it later on as a weapon. But for now, that does mean of functionality. Of course, his mouth opens. He's a shark, and the teeth are all painted correctly too, which is great. Yeah, you get a pretty good wide bite out of him. But if you want more functionality, well, they actually surprised me here. So you'll notice the body shape of him is far more symmetrical than it used to be. The original Sky-byte toy, and thus Cyber Shark before him, had more of an angle to him, to where he could look like he was lunging out of the water almost. This one is just more like a straight-on shark. So for posability, you do have the fins that can rotate around. They're on 5mm pegs, so that makes that easy. Around here, the tail, this is the surprising part, and I love this. It's retained from the original. You can bend the tail at the elbow port. Actually, I'll take that back. I don't think the original could do that because I remember the shell going all the way to the wrist. Yeah, I seem to remember that being a thing. Been a while since I picked up the original Sky-byte toy. If I can dig it out of shelves and bins, I might do a review of that just to compare the two. But yeah, the elbows of the arms line up so you can use them as a bend for the tail. Fantastic. You can also rotate the end of the fin here. The tail fin actually rotates. Great job there. And here's the cool one I think everyone was surprised about. The neck bends down. And the neck bends down with this whole apparatus here to hide any kind of gap that might form. Because a lot of times in the show, this is how you saw Sky-byte. He was like bent over and trying to talk to whoever was basically putting him down at the time. So yeah, actually really cool. They did not need to do that. They really did not need to include that functionality, but they did, and it's fantastic, and I love it. It's far more playable than I expected. My one issue is that Sky-byte lacks the 3mm post that a lot of Transformers have in order to have some kind of flight mode. So you can't attach him to like a flight stand the way you can a lot of modern Transformers. Now he does have a 5mm post here, right where the tail bends. So if you've got a display stand that uses one of those, you can still get away with it. But the dedicated port that they normally have, that's gone from here, which does take away from the whole Sky part a little bit. But that's a very minor thing. I rarely bring up that port. I bring it up now because this is the type of toy it's relevant to. But that's the shark mode for you. Let's get him transformed into robot mode. And you'll excuse me, had this guy for about a week now and haven't transformed him since. So you'll excuse me if I'm brute forcing my way through it a little bit. But the first thing I really like to do is get these panels opened up. They're on slide joints, which Hasbro doesn't use much anymore, and usually only when they are very low on engineering space and don't have any other choice. They usually prefer double hinge things, but not in this case. Not in this case. We're a little bit stuck now. I'm going to separate the shell. It's pegged up here, so make sure that part opens up. It's also tabs into the sides, like right here. So that's where you need to start pulling things apart. And with that, let me see if I can get the head disconnected too, because the bottom jaw is actually the feet. So we need to move that out of the way so we can start getting the legs. I'm just stretching all these parts out here, just getting everything disconnected from the shell pieces and then in the spots they need to be. The legs do double hinge down, so make sure. So once we get everything cleared, we'll tab those in better. All right, so all this cleared, all this space made, and all these panels opened up. Now let's start getting things into a proper robot mode position. So I'm going to take the arms, fold them down like so. These are also on slides, actually. Hi, Sky-byte, how you doing? We'll get to you in a minute. So make sure that these are in the proper alignment so that they can click into the gaps right in the sides of the torso. The wrist is going to flip up like so. Going to keep those arms out of the way for a bit here. I'm going to disconnect the back piece. Hear that little pop. And we're going to bring all this up. And all this needs to come around. So as you're doing this, this is probably a good time to start moving things to the back, like so. Yeah, it's again, like if you're familiar with the original Sky-byte, as you mess with this, you're probably going to notice a lot of it is familiar because a lot of the transformation is the same steps. Like here I'm getting the shell out of the way. But like everything's going to end up in the same place from mostly the same motions. So it's really a very good modernization of the original engineering. There's two tabs in the back. They're going to line up. Try to line up the curve of this gray part with the curve of the blue. And that should let you line everything up to click into place. Make sure that all friction's in. Make sure the shark is double hinged up so your legs have some more space. It's a little bit of a wonky bit of clearance, but it will work. There you go. Okay, so to lock those in, arrange these side fins like so. You're going to see these long tabs that are going to slot into the shark's neck, and that's going to hold everything into place. On the back, if I can see, because I have lights everywhere now, except right here where I need them right now to see where these are going in. All right, so that locks the entire back together. We just need to clean everything else up now. So go ahead and separate the legs. Make sure everything is tabbed into them like that. The double hinge is nice and tight. Go ahead and drop these down. Position shoulders as you want them. We will talk about that in a bit. But that is going to be the transformation for Sky-byte. And like I said, it does feel very, very familiar. And I apologize if it's a little bit chaotic on camera. There's a lot going on this transformation. It's a lot more involved than a lot of modern figures tend to be, because it's replicating the Transmetal 2 transformation exceptionally well, but there's a lot of new engineering to clean it up a lot and to make sure it works a lot better than it used to. So it feels familiar, but I'm absolutely getting something new out of it too. It's nice, you know, it feels nicer than it probably looked on camera. Again, also, by the way, open up the claw. That properly finishes it off. Yeah. And in the robot mode, he's pretty much what I expected him to be. There's a lot of shark panel falling off of him, but that's pretty much what Sky-byte is designed to be. The thing with the RID designs is they are very accurate to the original toys, so you need it. Think this is one of those toys where you need the shell hanging off of him, because that's what Sky-byte's shell parts have always done. So yeah, this is entirely how he's supposed to look, though actually he should look like this, with all this raised. However, on mine, yeah, I have a hinge that does not like to friction. Yeah, I've never been good at fixing friction joints, unfortunately, so I'm gonna have to call in an expert to figure out like how this is supposed to properly seat right there. I just kind of rotate the shell so it's leaning up against the shoulder a little bit. That at least gives me the silhouette I want with those really wide shoulder armors. But yeah, it's not a clean design, but I don't expect it to be clean. I expect it to look like Sky-byte. And speaking of, check the head sculpt. Oh, that's so good. Like, remember the way he was animated, he always had that like toothy maw on him. So this is actually completely accurate to the original toy. Even the eyes have that transmetal asymmetrical look. Smooth on one side, lines going through the other. Like, it's a really, really good sculpt. And yeah, check the mohawk. The mohawk fin absolutely rocks. Got the silver going down and everything. Here's again where I'm kind of surprised by like how much attention went into this. Yeah, silver on one side, blue on the other, purple in the middle. Yeah, they actually went all out. I'm very, very happily surprised by this toy. Now, granted, it's all like molded plastic here, but it doesn't really need anything. Obviously, if you pair it next to the original Sky-byte, it's going to have some missing things that you can notice, but I think it's doing a good enough job. For like a modern paint budget, I still think they went above and beyond, and it still feels like a really good figure. Now, for a little bit of comparison, it's a Voyager, but it's also an interestingly sized Voyager. It's fairly big compared to what we normally get. So let me bring in a Deluxe to compare it. I couldn't find Sideburn. I couldn't find my Sideburn in time for this recording. So here you go. Shadow Striker is the same mold. You get it. Like, it is a fairly good sized Voyager. Scales well to Sideburn if you want to have them together. If you had a working Omega Prime, then this is another great piece. I still don't really like the Scourge that we have right now from Velocitron. I think that still needs a better replacement. We will see. For now, I guess we go into an articulation rundown, right? So the head's ball jointed up and down, left and right, moves every which direction. These, as you can see, are hinged, so you can do whatever you want with those. They also rotate, so you can pose them however you want. Or they are on 5mm pegs, so you could just take them off if you don't like the kibble. I like that that's an option that they have left us. Both shoulders are universally jointed. They work very, very nicely. 360 degrees at the bicep rotation, 90-degree elbows, which is nice to see. Nothing at the wrist on this side. Actually, no, I take that back. I hadn't bent that before. He does have wrist articulation on this side. Obviously, he has wrist on this side. Check this out. If the camera will focus in on it. check this out. He has grippers. He can actually grip with his fin claw. And here's even the neater part about it. Look at that. You have these little faux parts in the back to cover up any gap it would create. It does have a limitation. Eventually it does run out of plastic to hide the gap. But you know what? It's a job that it's a little nice polish that they didn't need to put on it, and I appreciate that they did. Waist rotation works. Yeah, and thankfully, with the angle that everything in the back is at, it's not going to get in the way of any articulation. Universal hip joints, thigh rotation works 360 degrees. Yeah, it's one of those double hinge legs, so make sure you're careful when you bend the knee that you don't pop anything off, but it is a 90-degree knee. You have the ankle tilt. Let's see, do we have a rotation down here? No, we do not, but everything else really, really solid on this figure. Sky-byte is, yeah, pretty fantastic. I'm going to finish it off just by putting his launcher back in his hand. Obviously smaller than the original because there aren't missiles hanging out of it, but still gets the job done. It still looks like the little yellow engine block he's always had. And that, my friends, is our brand new Voyager Sky-byte, which is absolutely a phenomenal figure. Given the limitations that engineering and paint budget have these days, I'm surprised at how much he's got going on and how much he has as far as deco goes. It feels like an upgrade over the original toy, and one I would absolutely play with 100 times over above even the original. It just feels like a version of that figure, just nicely upgraded and just made a lot more solid. Aside from the lack of gimmicks from the original toy, I'd call it a vast improvement. And if Takara ever wants to do one of its little premium deals on this thing, I might pay for that. I might actually pay for that. This is the point where I should end you on a haiku just to stay with the theme of the character, but review's running long and I gotta go. So we will leave it at this. Absolutely fantastic figure. By all means, pick it up as soon as you see it. It is absolutely worth it. And obviously, thank you very much for watching, and I appreciate it that you did. I will see you next time.
Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.